We will be reading chapter 8 of the Kane Chronicles, the Red Pyramid, book 1. In Sadie's perspective, Muffin plays with knives. Let's begin. Look, Sadie's on a spine. Does Sadie have more oomph than Carter in this book? I was hoping to like Carter a lot more. He just reminds me too much of Percy Jackson. And, well, I'm not a fan. I like Percy Jackson more. Why would you do that, Rick? Because it's the first time he went off of Percy Jackson. He was probably scared to do something different. I don't know. Jason. Excuse me. It's 4 a.m. I don't know if Jason is any different than the other characters, but we'll find out whenever we meet him. Our baboon was going completely sky goddess, which is to say nuts. He swung from column to column, bouncing along the balconies, overturning pots and statues. Then he ran back to the terrace windows, stared outside for a moment, and proceeded to go berserk again. Why? Oh, there was an explosion. Muffin was also at the window. She crouched on all fours with her tail twitching as if she were stalking a bird. Perhaps it's just a passing flamingo, I suggested hopefully. But I'm not sure Carter could hear me over the screaming baboon. We ran to the glass doors. At first I didn't see any problem. Then water exploded from the pool and my heart nearly jumped out of my chest. 2 enormous creatures, most definitely not flamingos, were thrashing about with our crocodile, Philip of Macedonia. I couldn't make out what they were, only that they were fighting Philip 2 against 1. This disappeared under the boiling water, and Khufu ran screaming through the great room again, bonking himself on the head of his empty Cheerios box, which I must say was not particularly helpful. Long necks, Carter said incredulously. Sadie, did you see those things? I couldn't find an answer. Then one of the creatures was thrown out of the pool. It slammed into the doors right in front of us, and I jumped back in alarm. On the other side of the glass was the most terrifying animal I'd ever seen. And body was like a leopard's, lean and sinewy, with golden spotted fur, but its neck was completely wrong. It was green and scaly, and at least as long as the rest of the body. It had a cat's head, but no normal cat's. When it turned its glowing red eyes towards us, it howled, showing a forked tongue and fangs dripping with green venom. I realized my legs were shaking and I was making a very undignified whimpering sound. Weird. Huh. Would I care if Katie and Sadie died? I might care if Sadie dies in the book, but would I care if Carter dies? I don't know. I don't think I care about Carter, to be honest. I mean, he's alright. He just does whatever his dad wants to do, so he seems a little autonomous. He follows Sadie everywhere she goes. I like the moment where he said, I have to be the big brother. I thought that was super cute, and I thought that was great. But that was definitely some character building for him, for sure. So, I would kind of care. I don't really care, but I would kind of care. It would be a little sad if something were to happen to Sadie. Let's continue. And something will happen to Sadie, and that's when Carter is gonna have more character development, I guess. I realized my legs were shaking. I was making a very undignified and whimpering sound. The cat serpent jumped back into the pool to join his companion in beating up Philip. who spun and snapped, but seemed unable to hurt his attackers. We have to help Phila, I cried. He'll be killed. Huh. I reached for the door handle, but bro, you're gonna go help a fucking snake cat demon and a crocodile? Did you not see the snake cat demon get thrown across the field? You know what I mean? Field is in length of distance. Because he was thrown really far, and I'm assuming this cat demon is kind of big to fight off a crocodile. What a dumb line to say. What a dumb line. The crocodile's got this. Don't worry about it. No. You can go help him. I'll stay here. Shit. I reached for the door handle, but Muffin growled at me. Shut up. Carter said, Sadie, no. You heard Amos. We can't open the doors for any reason. The house is protected by magic. Philip will have to beat them on his own. But what if he can't? Philip! The old crocodile turned. For a second, his pink reptilian eye focused on me as if he could sense my concern. Then the cat snakes bit at his underbelly and Philip rose up so that only the tip of his tail still touched the water. His body began to glow. A low hum filled the air, like an airplane engine starting up. When Philip came down, he slammed into the terrace with all his might. This entire house shook. Cracks appeared in the concrete terrace outside, and the swimming pool split right down the middle as the far end crumbled into empty space. No, I cried. Wait. But the edge of the terrace ripped free, plunging Philip and the monster straight into the East River. Oh. No, Philip. I actually like the crocodile more than Sadie and Carter. No. The dad was cool. The dad was alright. I mean, it's one of those. I've seen them before. You know, they did it in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 in the deleted scene when Spider-Man is just some nobody, just some Peter Parker, some nerd. I mean, he's Spider-Man, so maybe it doesn't count. But, well, that's not true because Carter is probably a god. So, like, Spider-Man, he's like a nerd, he's a wimp. And his dad he's some kind of secret agent in that movie. And Peter never knew, and his dad actually is still alive. Oh, what the hell? The Amazing Spider-Man 3 would be fire. That would be fire. I don't give a fuck. Straight into the East River. Wow. My whole body began to tremble. He sacrificed himself! No! Son of a bitch. Philip. He killed the monsters. Sadie. Carter's voice was faint. What if he didn't? What if they come back? Don't say that. I recognize them, Sadie. Those creatures. Come on. Where? I demanded, but he ran straight back to the library. Carter marched up to the shopty who helped us before. Bring me the... What's it called? What? I asked. Something Dad showed me. It's a big stone plate or something. Had a picture of the first pharaoh, the guy who united Upper and Lower Egypt into one kingdom. His name? His eyes lit up. Narmer. Bring me the Narmer plate. Nothing happened. No, Carter decided. Not a plate. It was one of those things that holds paint. A pallet. Bring me the Narmer pallet. The empty-handed shopty didn't move. But across the room, the statue with the little hook came to life. He jumped off his pedestal and disappeared in a cloud of dust. A heartbeat later, That's cool. He reappeared on the table. Oh. That's how I wrote a script, so that's actually that's how I could write that. Huh. It's like fast. I don't know. I'm not faster than a heartbeat. Fuck. Shaped like a heartbeat later, he reappeared on the table. At his feet was a wedge of that gray stone, shaped like a shield and about as long as my forearm. No, Carter protested. I meant a picture of it. Oh, great. I think this is the real artifact. The Shopti must have stolen it from the Cairo Museum. We've got to return. Hang on, I said. We might as well have a look. The surface of the stone was carved with the picture of a man smashing another man in the face with what looked like a spoon. Huh. It looks like this. Anyway, I cracked my camera, unfortunately. Damn, my camera sucks. I wonder if it's the lighting. I think it's the lighting, actually. Hold on, but my energy bill, I fell asleep and I left the lights on. If I try any more lights, it's gonna get expensive in here. Let's continue reading, though. That's Neymar with the spoon, I guess. I'm angry because the other bloke stole his breakfast cereal. I guess. I mean, I don't know. I think this is a guy trying to like make some guy a king, maybe into some kind of political figure, promote a promotion of some sort, and the people on the bottom of the palette represent people from hell, maybe, and then or maybe demons from there, and maybe and then on the top right there's an eagle with a mouth, and I don't know. I think when you get promoted, it has something to do with the spirit realm. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me get some water. It's like my mouth is full of cottons. All right. We have to help Philip. Welcome. 3. I don't know what that says. I don't know. 6. I don't know. I don't know what that says. It looks like the number 6. But welcome to the Kane Chronicles. We're on page 105. Carter shook his head. He's conquering his enemies and uniting Egypt. See his hat? Man, I would have never thought that. That's the crown of Lower Egypt, before the two countries united. That looks like a bowling pin? You're impossible, Carter grumbled. He looks like Dad, doesn't he? Huh. Sadie, be serious. I am serious. Look at his profile. Carter decided to ignore me. He examined the stone like he was afraid to touch it. I need to see the back, but I don't want to turn it over. We might damage. I grabbed the stone and flipped it over. Sadie, you could have broken it. No, it's true. I wouldn't have gotten mad for her for that, though. Whatever. You know. Welcome, everyone. We're on page 108. Where are we? Carter decided to ignore me. That's what men's spells are for, yes. We examined the back of the stone. I had to admit I was impressed by Carter's memory. The two cat snake monsters stood in the center of the pallet, their necks entwined on either side. Egyptian men with ropes were trying to capture the creatures. And it looks like that. They're called serpopards, Carter said. Serpent leopards. Fascinating, I said. But what are serpopards? No one knows exactly. Dad thought they were creatures of chaos. Very bad news. And they've been around forever. This stone is one of the oldest artifacts from Egypt. Those pictures were carved 5,000 years ago. So why are 5,000-year-old monsters attacking our house? Last night in Phoenix, the fiery man ordered his servants to capture us. He said to send the long necks first. I had a metallic taste in my mouth, and I wish I hadn't. Chewed my last piece of gum. Well, good thing they're at the bottom of the East River. Just then, Khufu rushed into the library screaming and slapping his head. Suppose I shouldn't have said that, I muttered. Carter told the Shopti to return to the Narmor pallet, and both statue and stone disappeared. Then we followed the baboon upstairs. The serpopoids were back, their fur wet and slimy from the river, and they weren't happy. They prowled on the broken ledge of the terrace, their snake necks whimpering around as they sniffed the doors, looking for a way in. They spit poison that steamed and bubbled on the glass. Their forked tongues darted in and out. Khufu picked up Muffin, who was sitting on the sofa, and offered me the cat. I really don't think that will help, I told him. Khufu insisted. Neither Muffin nor cat ended in O, so I guess Khufu was not trying to offer me a snack. But I didn't know what he was on about. I took the cat just to shut him up. Meow. Muffin looked up at me. It'll be all right, I promise, trying not to sound scared out of my mind. The house is protected by magic. Sadie, Carter said. They found something. The serpopoids had converged to the left-hand door and were intently sniffling the handle. Isn't it locked, I asked. Both monsters smashed their ugly faces against the glass. The door shuddered. Blue hieroglyphs glowed along the door frame, but their light was faint. I don't like this, Carter murmured. I prayed for that the monsters would give up, or that perhaps Philip of Macedonia would climb back to the terrace. Do crocodiles climb? And renew the fight. Instead, the monsters smashed their heads against the glass again. This time a web of cracks appeared. The blue hieroglyphs flickered and died. Khufu screamed. He waved his hand vaguely at the cat. Maybe if I try the Hadi spell, I said. Carter shook his head. You almost fainted after you blew up those doors. I don't want you passing out or worse. Carter once again surprised me. He tugged a strange sword from me on Amos's wall displays. The blade had an odd crescent move curve and looked horribly impractical. You can't be serious, I said. Unless you've got a better idea, he stammered, his face beading with perspiration. It's me, you, and the baboon against those things. I'm sure Carter was trying to brave in his own extremely unbrave way, but he was shaking worse than I was. If anyone was going to pass out, I feared it would be him. and I didn't fancy him doing that while holding a sharp object. Then the serpent struck a third time, and the door shattered. We backed up to the foot of Tot's statue as the creature stalked into the great room. Khufu threw his basketball, which bounced harmlessly off the first monster's head. Then he launched himself at the serpopoid. "Khufu, don't!" Carter yelled, but the baboon sank his fangs into the monster's neck. The serpopoid lashed around, trying to bite him. Khufu leaped off, but the monster was quick. It used his head like a bat and smacked poor Khufu in midair, sending him straight through the shattered door, over the broken terrace, and into the void. Khufu is he's a little jerk. Who cares? It is kind of sad. I'm all for animals, you know. I wanted to sob, but there wasn't time. The serpopoids came toward us. We couldn't outrun them. Carter raised his sword. I pointed my hand at the first monster and tried to speak the Hadi spell, but my voice stuck in my throat. "Meow," Muffin said more insistently. Why was the cat still nestled in my arm and not running away in terror? Then I remembered something. Amos had said, "Muffin will protect you." I don't remember him saying that. Was that what Khufu had been trying to remind me? It seemed impossible, but I stammered. "Muffin, I ordered you to protect us." I tossed her on the floor just for a moment. The silver pendant on her collar seemed to gleam. Then the cat arched her back leisurely, sat down, and began licking a front paw. Well, what was I expecting? Heroics? The two red-eyed monsters bared their fangs. They raised their heads and prepared to strike, and an explosion of dry air blasted through the room. It was so powerful it knocked Carter and me to the floor. The serpopoid stumbled and backed away. I'll be back. I smoke too much. We should go look at what these serpopoids look like later. Huh. Where was I? Alright. The serpopoid stumbled and backed away. I staggered to my feet and realized that at the center of the blast had been Muffin. My cat was no longer there. In her place was a woman, small and lithe like a gymnast. Her jet black hair was tied in a ponytail. She wore a skin-tight leopard skin jumpsuit and Muffin's pendant around her neck. She turned and grinned at me, and her eyes were still Muffin's, yellow with black phenile pupils. "About time," she chided. This is kind of weird. The serpopoids got over their shock and charged the Catwoman. Their heads struck with lightning speed. They should have ripped her in two, but the cat lady leaped straight up, flipping 3 times, and landed above them, perched on the mantle. She flexed her wrists, and 2 enormous knives shot from her sleeves into her hands. "Ah, fun!" What? The monsters charged. She launched herself between them, dancing and dodging with incredible grace, letting them lash at her futilely, while she... Sorry, it's kind of dark in here. While she threaded their necks together. When she stepped away, the serpopoids were hopelessly intertwined. The more they struggled, the tighter the knots became. They trampled back and forth, knocking over furniture and roaring in frustration. Poor things, the Catwoman purred. Let me help. Her knives flashed, and the two monsters' heads thudded to the floor at her feet. Their bodies collapsed and dissolved into enormous piles of sand. So much for my playthings, the woman said sadly. From sand they come, and to sand they return. She turned towards us, and the knives shot back into the sleeves. Carter, Sadie, we should leave. Worse will be coming. So she's like conscious too? I couldn't tell if she was like an autonomous being or not. You know what I mean? Carter made a choking sound. Worse? Who? How? What? All in good time, the woman stretched her arms above her head with great satisfaction. So good to be in human form again. Now, Sadie, can you open us a door? Oh, this is funny. Because, like, Sadie don't like her cat. I can't imagine what she's thinking right now. You know, it's just funny. I love my cat. It would be freaky if she turned human. I don't know if I would like that. Jill Biden. Oh, God. Biden notification. I mean, we're all in good time. The woman, okay, so good to be in human form again. Now, Sadie, can you open the door through the doo-wop, please? I blinked. No, I mean, I don't know how. The woman narrowed her eyes, clearly disappointed. Shame. We'll need more power then. An obelisk. But that's in London, I protested. We can't. There's a nearer one in Central Park. I tried to avoid my hand, but this is an emergency. We'll just pop over and open a portal. A portal to where? I demanded. Who are you and why are you my cat? Oh, that's funny. Shame, she said. She said, shame. I guess we'll do something else. That's funny. The woman smiled. For now, we just want a portal out of danger. As for my name, it's not Muffin. Thank you very much. That's so funny. The cat told her my name is Muffin. Bruh, that shit is funny, dude. Man, that was funny. Okay. My name is, it's not Muffin, thank you very, as for my name, it's not Muffin, thank you very much. It's Bast, Carter interrupted. Your pendant, it's the symbol of Bast, goddess of cats. I thought it was just decoration, but that's you, isn't it? Very good, Carter, Bast said. Now come while we can still make it out of here alive. Bast. I don't know. I feel like I want to keep reading. That was the end of the chapter. This one's even shorter. Chapter 9. We run from 4 guys in skirts. And as you can see, we'll be reading Carter's perspective with the Eye of Horus for some reason as his symbol. Page 114. Let's go. So yeah, our cat was a goddess. What else is new? She didn't give us much time to talk about it. She ordered me to the library to grab my dad's magic kit. And when I came back, she was arguing with Sadie about Khufu and Philip. We have to search for them, Sadie insisted. They'll be fine, said Bast. However, we will not be unless we leave now. I raised my hand. Excuse me, Miss Goddess Lady. Amos told us the house was safe, but Bast snorted. Carter, the defenses were too easily breached. Someone sabotaged them. What do you mean? Who? Only a magician of the house could have done it. Another magician, I asked. Why would another magician want to sabotage Amos's house? Oh, Carter, Bast sighed. So young, so innocent. Magicians are devious creatures. Could be a million reasons why one would backstab another, but we don't have time to discuss it now. Come on. She grabbed our arms and led us out the front door. She'd sheathed her knives, but she still had some wicked sharp claws for fingernails that hurt as they dug into my skin. As soon as we stepped outside, the cold wind stung my eyes. We climbed down a long flight of metal stairs into the industrial yard that surrounded the factory. Dad's work bag was heavy on my shoulder. The curved sword I strapped across my back felt cold against my thin linen clothes. I started to sweat during the Serpaport attack, and now my perspiration felt like it was turning to ice. Perspiration. Jesus. Hold on. I'll be back. Oh man. I looked around for more monsters, but the yard seemed abandoned. Old construction equipment lay in rustling heaps, a bulldozer, a crane with a wrecking ball, a couple of content mixers. Look! Oh shit! Australia will recognize Palestine in September. Hashtag Free Palestine, right? That's crazy. That's good. That's good. September? Yeah. They should do it now, but that's good. Let's keep it up. They should have done it a while ago, though. Fucking idiots. But the yard seemed abandoned. Old construction equipment lay in rusting heaps. A bulldozer, a crane with a wrecking ball, a couple of cement mixers, piles of sheet metal, and stacks of crates made a maze of obstacles between the house and a street a few hundred yards away. We were about halfway across the yard when an old gray tomcat stepped in our path. One of his ears was torn. His left eye was swollen shut, judging from his scars. He spent most of his life fighting. Bass crouched and stared at the cat. He looked up at her calmly. "Thank you," Bass said. The old tomcat trotted off toward the river. "What was that about?" Sadie asked. "One of my subjects, offering help. He'll spread the news about our predicament. Soon every cat in New York will be on alert." He was so battered, Sadie said. "If he's your subject, couldn't you heal him and take away his marks of honor? A cat's battle scars are part of his identity." I couldn't. Suddenly, Bass tensed. She dragged us behind a stack of crates. "What is it?" I whispered. She flexed her wrists and her knife slid into her hands. She peeped over the top of the crates, every muscle in her body trembling. Ooh. I tried to see what she was looking at, but there was nothing except the old wrecking ball crane. I'm not gonna lie, the cat is like my favorite character. "What is it?" I whispered. I already read that. Bass's mouth twitched with excitement. Her eyes were fixed on the huge metal hull. I'd seen kittens look like that when they stalked catnip toy mice or pieces of string or rubber balls. Balls? No. Bass was an ancient goddess. Surely she wouldn't. This could be it. She shifted her weight. Stay very still. Very still. There's no one there, Sadie hissed. I wanted to say, Bass lunged over the crates. She flew 30 feet through the air, knives flashing, and landed on the wrecking ball with such force that she broke the chain. The cat goddess and the huge metal sphere smashed into the dirt and went rolling across the yard. Row! Bass wailed. The wrecking ball rolled straight over her, but she didn't appear hurt. She leaped off and pounced again. Her knife sliced through the metal like wet clay. Damn. Within seconds, the wrecking ball was reduced to a mound of scraps. Bast sheathed her blades. Safe now. Sadie and I looked at each other. You saved us from a metal ball, Sadie said. You never know, Bass said. It could have been a hostile. Just then, a deep boom. I shook the ground. I looked back at the mansion. Tendrils of blue fire curled from the top windows. Come on, Bass said. Our time is up. I thought maybe she'd whisk us off by magic or at least hail a taxi. Instead, Bass borrowed the silver Lexus convertible. Oh, yes, she purred. I like this one. Come along, children. But this isn't yours, I pointed out. My dear, I'm a cat. Everything I see is mine. She touched the ignition and the keyhole sparked. The engine began to purr. No, Sadie, not like a cat, like an engine. Bast. Wait, what? Bast, I said. You can't just. Sadie elbowed me. We'll work out how to return it later, Carter. Right now, we've got an emergency. She pointed back toward the mansion. Blue flames and smoke now billowed from every window, but that wasn't the scary part. Coming down the stairs were four men carrying a large box, like an oversized coffin with long handles sticking out at both ends. The box was covered with a black shroud and looked big enough for at least two bodies. The four men were only kilts and sandals. Their coppery skin glinted in the sun as if made of metal. Oh, that's bad, Bass said. In the car, please. I decided not to ask questions. Sadie beat me to the shotgun seat, so I climbed in the back. The four metallic guys with the box were racing across the yard, coming straight for us at an unbelievable speed. Before I even had my seatbelt on, Bass hit the gas. We tore through the streets of Brooklyn, weaving insanely through traffic, riding over sidewalks, narrowly missing pedestrians. Damn. Bass drove with reflexes that were, well, cat-like. Any human trying to drive so fast would have had a dozen wrecks, but she got us safely onto the Williamsburg Bridge. I thought for sure we must have lost our pursuers, but when I looked back, the four copper men with the black box were weaving in and out of traffic. They appeared to be dodging at a normal pace, but they passed cars that were doing 50. Their bodies blurred like choppy images in an old movie, as if they were out of sync with the regular stream of time. What are they? I asked. Shopti? No, carriers. Bass glanced in the rearview mirror. Some is straight from the Duat. They'll stop at nothing to find their victims. Throw them in the sedan. The what? Sadie interrupted. The large box, Bass said. It's a kind of carriage. The carriers capture you, beat you senseless, throw you in, and carry you back to their master. They never lose their prey, and they never give up. But what do they want us for? Trust us, Bass growled. You don't want to know. I thought about the fiery man last night in Phoenix, how he'd fried one of his servants into a grease spot. I was pretty sure I didn't want to meet him face to face again. Bast, I said. If you're a goddess, can't you just snap your fingers and disintegrate those guys? Or wave your hand and teleport us away? Wouldn't that be nice? But my power is in this host is limited. You mean Muffin? Sadie asked. But you're not a cat anymore. She's still my host, Sadie, my anchor on this side of the duat, and a very imperfect one. Your call for help allowed me to assume human shape, but that alone takes a great deal of power. Besides, even when I'm in a powerful host, Set's magic is stronger than mine. Could you please say something I actually understand? I pleaded. Carter, we don't have time for a full discussion on gods and hosts and the limits of magic. We have to get you to safety. Bass floored the accelerator and shot up in the middle of the bridge. The four carriers with the sedan raced after us, blurring the air as they moved, but no car swerved to avoid them. No one panicked or even looked at them. How can people not see them? I said. Don't they notice four copper men in skirts running up the bridge with a weird black box? Bass shrugged. Cats can hear many sounds. You can't. Some animals see things in the ultraviolet spectrum that are invisible to humans. Magic is similar. Did you notice the mansion when you first arrived? Well, no. And you were born to magic, Bass said. Imagine how hard it would be for a regular mortal. Born to magic? I remember what had said about our family being in the house of life for a long time. If magic runs in the family, why haven't I ever been able to do it before? Bass smiled in the mirror. Your sister understands. Sadie's ears turned red. No, I don't. I still can't believe you're a goddess. All those years you've been eating crunchy treats, sleeping on my head. I made a deal with your father, Bass said. He let me remain in the world as long as I assumed a minor form, a normal house cat, so I could protect and watch over you. It was the least I could do after. She stopped abruptly. A horrible thought occurred to me. My stomach fluttered, and it had nothing to do with how fast we were going. After our mom's death, I guessed. Bass stared straight ahead out the windshield. That's it, isn't it? I said. Dad and Mom did some kind of magic ritual at Cleopatra's needle. Something went wrong. Our mom died and they released you? That's not important right now, Bass said. The point is, I agreed to look after Sadie, and I will. She was hiding something. I was sure of it, but her tone made it clear that the subject was closed. If you gods are so powerful and helpful, I said, why does the House of Life forbid magicians from summoning you? Bass swerved into the fast lane. Wait, what? That's not important. Huh. Why does that... Okay. Bass swerved into the fast lane. Magicians are paranoid. Your best hope is to stay with me. We'll get you far away as possible from New York. Then we'll get help and challenge Set. What's help? Sadie asked. Who's Set? Bass raised an eyebrow. Why, we'll summon more gods, of course. So Set is, Welcome, baby bubbles. Welcome. Nice to see you. Yes. Oh, I wonder what she's up to. What's she up to? What you doing, baby bubbles? She's a good friend of mine. She lives one state over. Alright, that was the end of the chapter. Chapter 10, Bass Goes Green. And we're still in Carter's perspective. I really want to write. I don't want to keep reading, to be honest. I write stuff. I only have a little bit left. Might as well kill it. So, is everyone enjoying this story? I am. It's fun. Carter can be a little baby sometimes, but Sadie's here to push him, to be honest. Man, let's do this. Chapter 10. Bass Goes Green, Carter's perspective. Sadie, stop it. I'm getting to that part. Sorry, she keeps trying to distract me by setting fire to my... Never mind. Where was I? We barreled off the Williamsburg Bridge into Manhattan and headed north on Clinton Street. They're still following, Sadie warned. Sure enough, the carriers were only a block behind us, weaving around cars and trampling over sidewalk displays of tourist junk. We'll buy some time, Bass growled deep in her throat. A sound so low and powerful it made my teeth buzz. She yanked the wheel and swerved right onto East Houston. I looked back. Just as the carriers turned the corner, a horde of cats materialized all around them. Some jumped from windows, some ran from the sidewalks and alleys, some crawled from the storm drains. All of them converged on the carriers in a wave of fur and claws, climbing up their copper legs, scratching their backs, clinging to their faces, and weighing down the sedan box. The carriers stumbled, dropping the box. They began blindly swatting at the cats. Okay. The carriers stumbled, dropping the box. They began blindly swatting the cats. The two cars swerved to avoid the animals and collided, blocking the entire street, and the carriers went down under the mass of angry felines. We turned into the FDR drive and the scene disappeared from view. Nice, I admitted. It won't hold him long, Bass said. Now, Central Park. Bass ditched the Lexus at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. We'll run from here, she said. It's just behind the museum. When she said run, she meant it. Sadie and I had to sprint to keep up, and Bass wasn't even breaking a sweat. She didn't stop for little things like hot dog stands or parked cars. Anything under 10 feet tall she leaped over with ease, leaving us to scramble around the obstacles as best we could. We ran into the park on the East Drive. As soon as we turned north, the obelisk loomed above us, a little over 70 feet tall. It looked like an exact copy of the Needle in London. It was tucked away on a greasy hill, it actually felt isolated, which is hard to achieve in the center of New York. There was no one around except a couple of joggers further down the path. I could hear the traffic behind us on Fifth Avenue, but even that seemed far away. We stopped at the obelisk's base. Bass sniffed the air as if smelling for trouble. Once I was standing still, I realized just how cold I was. The sun was directly overhead, but the wind ripped right through my borrowed linen clothes. I wish I grabbed something warmer, I muttered. A wool coat would be nice. No, it wouldn't, Bass said, scanning the horizon. You're dressed for magic. Sadie shivered. We have to freeze to be magical? Magicians avoid animal products, Bass said absently. Fur, leather, wool, any of that. The residual life aura can interfere with spells. My boots seem all right, Sadie nodded. Leather, Bass said with distaste. You may have a higher tolerance, so a bit of leather won't bother your magic? I don't know. But linen clothing is always best, or cotton. Plant material at any rate. Sadie, I think we're clear for the moment. There's a window of auspicious time starting right now, at 11:30, but it won't last long. Get started. Sadie blinked. Me? Why me? You're the goddess. I'm not good at portals, Bass said. Can you... cats are protectors. Just control your emotions. Panic or fear will kill the spell. We have to get out of here before Set summons the other gods to his cause. I frowned. You mean Set's got like other evil gods on speed dial? Bass glanced nervously toward the trees. Evil and good may not be the best way to think of it, Carter. As a magician, you must think about chaos and order. Those are the two forces that control the universe. Set is all about chaos. But what about the other gods Dad released? I persisted. Aren't they good guys? Isis, Osiris, Horus, Nephthys. Where are they? Bass fixed her eyes on me. That's a good question, Carter. A Siamese cat broke through the bushes and ran up to Bass. They looked at each other for a moment. Then the Siamese dashed away. The carriers are close, Bass announced. And something else, something much stronger, closing in from the east. I think the carrier's master has grown impatient. My heart did a flip. Set is coming? No, Bass said. Perhaps a minion or an ally. My cats are having trouble describing what they're seeing, and I don't want to find out. Sadie, now is the time. Just concentrate on opening a gateway to the doo-wop. I'll keep off the attackers. Combat magic is my specialty. Hold on. We're all gonna leave together though, right? Like what you did in the mansion, I asked. Bass showed her pointed teeth. No, that was just combat. The woods rustled, and the carriers emerged. Their sedan chair shroud had been shredded by cat claws. The carriers themselves were scratched and dented. One walked with a limp, his leg bent backwards at the knee. Another had a cat fender wrapped around his neck. The four metal men carefully set down their sedan chair. They looked at us and drew golden metal clubs from their belts. What? Hold on. Sadie, I don't know what they're doing. Are they sitting down? Sadie, get to work, Bast ordered. Carter, you're welcome to help me. The cat goddess unleashed her knives. Her body began to glow with a green hue. An aura surrounded her, growing larger, like a bubble of energy lifting her off the ground. The aura took shape until Bast was encased in a holographic projection about 4 times her normal size. It was an image of the goddess in her ancient form, a 20-foot tall woman with the head of a cat, floating in midair in the center of the hologram. Bast stepped forward. What? So Bast isn't even standing on the ground anymore. She's literally flying. So this is a Susanoo, if you see Naruto. She has a Susanoo. In the center, Bast stepped forward. The giant cat goddess moved with her. It didn't seem possible that a see-through image could have substance, but its foot shook the ground. Bast raised her hand. The glowing green warrior did the same, unsheathing claws as long and sharp as rapiers. Bast swiped the sidewalk in front of her and shredded the pavement to concrete ribbons. She turned and smiled at me. The giant cat's head did likewise, bearing 4 horrible fangs that could have bitten me in half. This, Bast said, is combat magic. At first I was too stunned to do anything but watch as Bast launched her green war machine into the middle of the carriers. She slashed one carrier to pieces with a single swipe, then stepped on another and flattened him into a metal pancake. The other 2 carriers attacked her holographic legs, but their metal clubs bounced harmlessly off the ghostly light with showers of sparks. Meanwhile, Sadie stood in front of the obelisk with her arms raised, shouting, "Open, you stupid piece of rock!" Finally, I drew my sword. My hands were shaking. I didn't want to charge into battle, but I felt like I should help. And if I had to fight, I figured having a 20-foot tall glowing cat warrior on my side was the way to do it. Sadie, I'm going to help Bast. Keep trying. I am. I ran forward just as Bast sliced the other 2 carriers apart like loaves of bread. With relief, I thought, well, that's it. Then all 4 carriers began to reform. The flat one peeled himself off the pavement. The sliced one's pieces clicked together like magnets, and the carriers stood up good as new. Carter, help me hack them apart, Beast called. They need to be in smaller pieces. I tried to stay out of Bast's way as she sliced and stomped. Then, as soon as she disabled the carrier, I went to work chopping its remains into smaller pieces. They seemed more like Play-Doh than metal, because my blade smashed them up pretty easily. Another few minutes and I was surrounded by piles of copper rubble. Bast made a glowing fist and smashed the sedan into a kindling. This wasn't so hard, I said. What were we running for? Inside her glowing shell, Bast's face was coated with sweat. It hadn't occurred to me that a goddess could get tired, but her magic avatar must have taken a lot of effort. We're not safe yet, she warned. Sadie, how's it coming? It's not, Sadie complained. Isn't there another way? But before Bass could answer, the bushes rustled with a new sound, like rain, except more slithery. A chill ran up my back. What is that? No, Bass murmured. It can't be. Not her. Then the bushes exploded. 1,000 brown creepy crawlies poured from the woods in a carpet of grossness, all pincers and stinging tails. I wanted to yell, scorpions! But my voice wouldn't work. My legs started trembling. I hate scorpions. They're everywhere in Egypt. Many times I'd found them in my hotel bed or shower. Once I'd even found one in my sock. Sadie, Beast called urgently. Nothing, Sadie moaned. The scorpions kept coming. Thousands upon thousands out of the woods. Out of the woods, a woman appeared, walking fearlessly through the middle of the arachnids. She wore brown robes with gold jewelry glinting around her neck and arms. Her long black hair was cut ancient Egyptian style with a strange crown on top. Then I realized it wasn't a crown. She had a live, supersized scorpion nesting on her head. Millions of the little nasties swirled around her like she was the center of their storm. Surikhet, Beast growled. The scorpion goddess, I guessed. Maybe that should have terrified me, but I was already pretty much at my maximum. Can you take her? Bass' expression didn't reassure me. Carter, Sadie, she said, this is going to get ugly. Get to the museum. Find the temple. It may protect you. What temple? I asked. And what about you? Sadie added. I'll be fine. I'll catch up. But when Bass looked at me, I could tell she wasn't sure. Aw. That's our cat. It's okay. She was just buying us time. Go, she ordered. She turned her giant green cat warrior to face the massive scorpions. Embarrassing truth. In the face of those scorpions, I didn't even pretend to be brave. I grabbed Sadie's arm and we ran. That's okay. That's good. All right. Oh, man. That was fun. Bast? Is that her name, right? B-A-S-T? Yeah. I hope she'll be alright. You know what I mean? Bast. I'm getting tired. I feel like I should end the live. Sadie's perspective. You know, what's the point of doing perspectives if I can't tell? Like, that did feel like a Carter chapter. And it is but some Sadie chapters, I feel like both of them are the main character. And I'm just like, why is it Sadie? I don't know. I'm on page 130 out of 500 something. I don't know how long it's gonna take me to read this, but I think this is day 3. Day 1, I was reading only a couple pages, you know. This is day 3. It's alright story so far. Nothing I would say that's too unique, I think. Unfortunately. It's just a kid's book, I know, but... Well... I'm going to take a little break. I'll be back. And then we'll start chapter 11. We meet the human flamethrower in Sadie's perspective.